worst. But yeah, you seem like a professional at it, so, like telling your story and like having little hiccups.
It's
So,
gonna be funny. Okay. You want me to start?
so, so you're funny.
How much
Yeah.
time have I spent? Do you know?
You were at like 15 minutes,
15? Okay.
like 13.
Okay.
So
Okay, so it's 9:12 now. So we're halfway through. Okay.
yeah, yeah. I got a timer run. So
Okay. Great. All right. I have to tell you my funny relapse story. So at the end of my I was coming up on 4 months, and Tinder was part of my regular routine, but I was also getting worn down from it. I was getting tired. I felt like, what is the point of my life? And so one fine day I went to Georgetown to meet up with this very nice Marine that I had been chatting with. And as I walked into the restaurant, I noticed, I just felt like this was going to get weird. And our conversation wasn't good. And the waitress came around. She said, "Do you guys want anything to drink?" And I said, "Oh, no." And he ordered a drink. The waitress left, and he commented on my earrings. He said, "Oh, you have really beautiful earrings." And he reached over to touch my ear, and I was just feeling really weird about it. And instead of touching my earring, he grabbed my hair. I had my hair down, and he smelled my hair. And that sent me into a case of this. The waitress had just come by, and I said, "Get me a bottle of red wine." And it was on like Donkey Kong from that day forward. I did not care any longer about staying sober, because experience the past 4 months was that sobriety was hard, no one else was doing it, and I was miserable trying. And my drinking actually took off from that moment that man smelled my hair. I was like, yep, I'm drinking and I love it and I'm going to embrace it. And this is who I am. And wow, I really didn't know that alcoholism was progressive. I mean, at that point, I didn't even identify as an alcoholic, but my drinking escalated to a whole new level. And here I was at the top of my career. I was sent over then to go to London for 1 month so I could find a flat, find an apartment to live in, and start to build my life in London. And hey, what do you know? In London, England, there's lots of drinking. It's actually integrated into their culture. And wow, the consequences started getting more and more. I got really drunk at a work event. I blacked out. It was so embarrassing. And after that month, I flew home. I had ruined a friendship with this girl that I really cared about. She just said, "You need to get your life together. We're not friends," And that was a real kick in the butt for me, but it wasn't enough. So when I got home, I continued to drink. I continued on with my life until I reached a point where I got on this bender. It was a 2-day bender. It was a weekend. And I blacked out for more than 24 hours. And when I woke up from that blackout, I was alone in my apartment, down on my living room floor with bottles there. And it woke up, and I had actually written a suicide note to myself, and I don't remember it. And so when I sat up and looked around at my environment, I just thought, oh my God, like this is the closest to dying that I ever have been. And it scared me so much. I was shaking. I was so tired. At this point, I was barely 100 pounds. I felt like there was nothing going right in my life, and maybe death was a good option. And for some reason, that day I was obligated to go to my family's house, and they picked up that I was not okay. And I made the choice to out myself. And I wasn't comfortable doing it. It was really awkward, but I just said, I was asked the question, "Do you need help?" And I said, yes. And I felt looking back on that moment now, it was like having my higher power just step in and say the word yes for me, because I had been so hidden behind my drinking, and I had hidden a lot from my family and my friends. And what happened was I was brought to a doctor. She said, look, how much are you actually drinking? And I told her at least 2 bottles a day, you know, more. And she looked at me and said, you need to go to rehab and get some help. And I thought she was nuts. I honestly wanted to like reach across and just like give her a shake and say, yeah, I'm not an alcoholic. But I did. I started looking at rehab facilities. I knew that I wasn't in any shape to go back to my job, so I quit my job. And I started talking about the term alcoholic, because she had called me an alcoholic, but I still wasn't super comfortable with it. I found the nicest treatment center that I possibly could in British Columbia. The exchange rate was great. You know, there was horses on the website. It was in the mountains, and I remember packing, and my friend like, you're not going to like camp. I was packing like gowns and dresses. Like my brain was not functioning properly. Here I was thinking I was going on this like luxury vacation, but no, I was going to rehab. So I got on a plane, went to rehab, and I was shocked when I walked into this treatment center, because here were 22 people that started openly talking about their feelings and talking about their DOCs and the big book and all these terms that I had no idea about. And I was scared shitless. I was silent for 2 weeks. I gained the nickname Ice Queen, because I really did not know, one, how to interact with people sober, or two, how to identify as an alcoholic. And then I'll even add a third. I did not know recovery world at all. I thought for the longest time that I was the only person suffering from addiction, like alcohol problems, because I never found anyone else to like bounce ideas off of. I was always told like, oh, you'll figure it out, or, you know, this isn't a problem. You're not like as bad as so-and-so. And so when I was in rehab, I started to really kind of look at, wow, there's a lot to this. And I was learning from people and their stories. And then I started to share in meetings, and I had 3 counselors. I don't know why, but they gave me 2 extras. I must have been really messed up. And then they were talking about eating disorders and, you know, love addiction. And basically they explained it to me as, we have this void in us that needs to be stuffed with whatever possible. So it doesn't really matter if it's alcohol, drugs, gambling, you know, eating issues. We're stuffing that pain with something. And wow, did the light bulbs start to go off in my brain. Like, you know, I've been through some trauma when I was younger. I had been through trauma in my addiction, and I was really trying to numb out everything that I could in my life. So I started to work a program in treatment. And then I started realizing, holy crap, I'm not ready to go after 30 days. Like, this is not a quick fix for me. So I stayed for 90. And then I made the decision to move my butt from Washington, D.C. to British Columbia so that I could be close to this treatment center, because I really liked what all of the staff had to offer. I felt like these people were living a fun, sober life, and I want to get to know them. I want to know their secrets. I want to know how they're doing this. I want to learn from them. So I made the move out to BC. I met my fiance here. He's also in recovery. He does intervention work. And I started to actually integrate recovery into my life. And that first year I suffered. I felt like I didn't know where to turn. I didn't know who, like I had a counselor, I had a sponsor, but besides that, I really felt like there was a piece missing. You know, like I went to meetings, but I wasn't really great at coping skills. I wasn't really sure how to have sober fun. And I felt like I was a bit lost. Like I was navigating how to do this on my own, even though I wasn't alone. And over time, I started to build a program that made sense for me. And then I went back to work. I took the first year off of work, which is for 3, like I said earlier, that's not something that we do. but I needed it. Like I had a job offer on the table when I left treatment to go to New York City. And I just said, I just felt in my bones that I would relapse. So I stayed in BC. And then I started working in events again and, you know, doing the day-to-day thing. And one day I looked down at my desk and I had started to map out a compass and all the different recovery pieces that I had felt like really helped me in my life. And I started planning to put a company together. I wanted to help people bridge this gap, whether it was coming out of treatment and learning how to live again, or people that were kind of on the fence in their sobriety that maybe didn't need to go to treatment but wanted support, accountability, tools, you know, all that good stuff. And so I changed my career again. And I built My Sober Compass, which is a sober coaching company. And I launched it in 2017. In the beginning, I just knew in my heart of hearts that this is what I wanted to do with my life. And I navigated it. Like I kind of started it as this counseling kind of office where people could just pop in and out and we'd, you know, talk about recovery. And I gave them my phone number so they could call me 24 hours a day. I didn't know what to charge. It was so confusing in the beginning, but I loved it just the same because it got me connected to people who wanted to get well. And that filled my happiness cup. Like that was a pivotal moment for me to realize that work is not just about clocking in and out 9 to 5. I wanted my work to be something that I would, at the end of the day, just feel like, wow, I helped another person. So for 2 years, I operated My Sober Compass, like I said, as a counseling company. And then last year in 2019, I went to Angie Lee. She has a podcast. I went to her conference in San Diego, and there was 1,500 female entrepreneurs in one tent. I really didn't even know how I ended up there. I just thought this would be fun. You know, I want to go to California. And in this tent, I was awakened to online businesses and how you could impact lots of people by building an online platform for your business. So we had like anywhere from like accountants to life coaches to eating coaches. I mean, online business coaches. There were so many coaches there. And here I was, this little sober coach, just so excited. And I started to think, okay, you know, after working with so many clients, I have a framework that I really believe makes sense because there are lots of different ways that people recover. And there's no one size fit all. Like I'm of this belief. We all have to find our own way, which kind of plays into the compass, right? Like compass helps guide you, but it doesn't give you like point A to point B. So with My Sober Compass, I came up with my 5-point system. So the 5 points are building a community, finding routines and habits that work. 3 is self-improvement. So what can we do in our inner selves? 4 is how to have sober fun, because if we don't have sober fun, then we're not going to stay sober. And 5 is service. So how to give back to people in recovery. So with this sober plan and all of my other coaching tools, like how to build a sober support network, how to practice coping skills, how to set boundaries, how to have tough conversations, I came up with this 12-week recovery coaching system that now I'm running all my clients through, because after those 12 weeks, they have a baseline of what to do in recovery. They learn recovery jargon. They understand, okay, what is the difference between 12 steps, smart recovery, refuge recovery? And they also know that they're not alone, because addiction takes that from us. Addiction makes us feel like we are alone. We are isolated. We're dark. We're heavy, it strips everything out of us. And I'm here to show people they can do it. It just takes a plan. Like often I compare it to okay, if you're a person who wants to lose weight and get healthy and well, you don't just sign up for a gym online. You could probably get a trainer, talk about an eating plan, talk about coping skills without food. Like there's so many things. So same thing with recovery. It's not just going to meetings. It's so many other things. Yes, meetings are awesome because you get exposure to people. You get to learn about, like, if we're talking about 12 steps, you get to learn the 12-step program. You get to get the big book. You get a sponsor. But I feel like there is such a disconnect here because so many people are confused about what their options are for recovery. And I hate to see people not come back. I've seen way too many people not come back because of a bad experience at a meeting or a friend telling them that they're not doing it right. You know, these people that fall through the cracks, these are the people that I want to grab and hug and just say, you know, it's going to be okay. We're going to get through this, because I'm going to show you all of the options that are out there and make sure that it works for your lifestyle. So I was just on a call with a client today and we were celebrating. She only had 3 sessions with me, but she had this urge to go to the liquor store, you know, and she talked to me about how she played the tape, which is something that we talked about. She talked about her consequences that she brought to the front of her mind, and we celebrated together. That is such an amazing victory. She has 10 days today, you know, and like she's never had 10 days strung together. So I think that there's a lot of power in finding someone. I'm not saying that it has to be me, but finding a coach or someone who can help guide you through this process that is passionate and also that is living a happy, sober life. Like, don't align with someone who thinks recovery is miserable. That's not your person, because that person is going to help bring you down. So yeah, so I have a 12-week one-on-one coaching program, Will, that I'm super passionate about. You know, I offer like a free 30-minute phone call for people to jump on with me if you want to put that in the link, so we can talk about like where you want to go, where you want to be. I also have a free Facebook group. It's called My Sober Compass Inner Circle. You can just find it on Facebook and join. I run 2 free Zoom meetings a week. So Thursdays at 12 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and then Sundays at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And I'm bringing in a lot of amazing speakers on the Sunday night. So it's really blowing up. Like I started this during COVID, and wow, it's really gained momentum, and I want to keep it forever. So that's going really well. But yeah, I just want people to know that you can find me like at My Sober Compass on Instagram and send me a DM. So often people tell me that I'm the first person that they're telling that they have a problem with alcohol or drugs or gambling or sex. You know, addiction doesn't discriminate. And I want to be that person that you can bounce ideas off of and be that person to tell you that there absolutely is hope and anyone can recover. It just takes effort and it takes a plan. It's not, let's throw it up on the wall and see what sticks. Yeah, so that's me. Do you have any questions?
I have to unmute me. Wow. Wow. Tell me, when you were 18, you thought you'd be living in British Columbia, owning a drug and alcohol recovery program, right?
Never in my wildest
You can't
dreams.
plan that shit. You can't plan this shit, man. Like, hey, you can't even make that up. You know what? So where are you from originally?
I'm okay. So I was born in Canada in Ottawa, and then
Okay.
I moved to the Washington D.C. area, and then out to BC. But yeah,
Okay.
I figured that I would be in London for the rest of my life, drinking with the UK people.
Yeah. World traveler.
But
I'm gonna stop recording.